So I'm deep in the middle of denim bits, and I just want to make quite a simple skirt. I'm using the overlocker, and I'm using all the scraps from all the other projects that I've done on denim. So, except for this bit, which I might do a denim type skirt on it. It's more, well, it's canvas, so it's the same sort of thickness fabric. Now, some of this denim has stretch in it, more than other bits, and this bit is part of a jeans. So I've just cut out this bit of the jeans, and that's all I've got left. So I might use it for another project, you never know. I have taken to having a little, I don't know the best way to describe it, but I have now got a scraps bin, so that all my scraps, I can just, if I just need a little bit, then I can delve in there. So okay, now what I want to do is I want to make a tube. Now this is all that it is, that's all the designing that I've done on it so far. So, oh, excuse me. And it's just a matter of sewing the last strip of this. Now what I've done is I've made sure that the tops are all level, but the bottom is slightly different lengths. Pure laziness, okay? No other reason than I haven't taken the time to measure them out exactly. But the nice thing about the overlocker is it cuts and sews, so that's all great. Now, if I didn't have an overlocker and I was sewing this designer skirt on a normal sewing machine, then I would probably have to sew it with running stitches, and then I'd have to do a nice cross thread as well. So I never know which order I'm going to post these videos, because some of them have to be edited. So the pair of jeans I'm using have got stains in certain places. I think it's paint, it might be bleach, but they're useless now, so I've decided to cut them out. So far, this will be the third project on them. So, lovely. I'm actually, yeah, I'm quite a good sewer, honestly, but sometimes I just don't concentrate. So let me just come in and then take up stitches again, because I've come off slightly. Lovely. Yeah, doing too many things at once. So that's that done. So you can see that, you know, the top isn't even straight, and that was the end that I was concentrating on. So I do need to trim that. Now, as part of this design, I am doing like a straight skirt, and I am going to twist the pattern. I'm not doing like a mermaid skirt or anything. We will come back to that, obviously, but not today. So what I need to do is I need to pick the shortest of the strips and then cut from the shortest of the strips. So now I like to make things out of straps. I like to make things out of scraps. There's yeah, I just do. It's not that I like throwing things away. It's that I like the fact that everyone can see that there is no skirt like this at all anywhere. Now, I have no idea where this would look the best. Okay, if we cut it in the middle, I think if it was slightly out, then it would look really wonky. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to pick a strip. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the main body of the skirt aside, Oh, what I should have done was use that as a measuring device, shouldn't I? And I'm literally just going to insert that in there. So rather than cut a seam, I am cutting through the denim, just through another bit. And then I'm going to insert this in there. So, probably don't need to pull the machine forward. As you can tell, I'm making this up as I go along. There is no two ways about this. But that is literally how I sew. So, you know, if you're a bit more comfortable being very formal, then yeah, you can write it out on a piece of paper and work out exactly how much cloth you have. So you can keep it all together. So what I need to do now is I need to, with pins, or you could use a pen, is work out the quarters of this. So I've put a pin in one end and I'm putting a pin in another end, and this should be as accurate as possible. And I'm going to fold it over so both my pins match up, and then I'm going to do a pin there. So I've marked out 4 quarters of this skirt because this lower bit is slightly bigger than the bigger bit. So I can put that to the side, out of the way. Yes, so yeah, going back to the bins, I now have a scrap bin, and I now have a waste paper bin, just a bin, and I now have a bin. So yes, there's 3 bins on the floor, so complete trip hazard. Okay, I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to mark these up. And fold it over again. Now at this point, if you wanted to, you could decide where you wanted the strips, because if you had a favourite of these 4 fabrics, 4 or 5 fabrics, then you would want that at the front, in the middle. That would look the most dramatic. Obviously I didn't, because I'm a bit like that. Now what I need to do is I need to turn one of them inside out. It doesn't matter which one, I just need to turn one of them inside out. And then I need to match up just 2 of the pins. Now in a way, thinking about it, it would probably be better if I matched up, if I turn the inside one inside out. If I turn the smaller one, it would make more sense. Now I've put it into the overlocker, and now I have to sew so that the pins match up, because they're all a quarter of the way round. Okay, I'm going to take the 2 pins out now, so that, because it's coming up to the T. And whereas you can sew over a needle in a sewing machine, you can sew over a pin in a sewing machine, you really can't in an overlocker because of the cutter. So you'll damage the machine. Whereas in a sewing machine, the worst thing that can happen is that you break the needle. So now I've got my 2 pins. I'm going to take them out now because of who knows. And I'm going to match up where those 2 pins were. So this top bit's shorter than this bottom bit. And I'm going to sew but let it take it, so it's sort of naturally gathered. when you sew, the bottom bit goes further than the top bit and everything else like that. So all I'm doing is I'm making use of that fact that I need the top to be shorter and the bottom to be longer. So I'm holding it up so it takes more fabric from the bottom. Okay, so I've got my last bit there, no more pins to take it out, and I need just to take like a little bit of gather. And there we go, I can literally hold it straight now. Okay, so that's grand. And I now have the basis of my skirt. So this is the bottom and this is the top. So what I'm doing at this minute is I am adjusting where I would like the front to be. So, you know, I knew I was going to have to do it sooner or later, and I must admit, from that little exercise, I am none the wiser. Now, we know from cutting other skirts, I could get you a block pattern just to show you, that my waist is supposed to be smaller than my hips. So what I need to do is I need to cut in where this would be. Now so this is my block pattern and there's my skirt. So I now need to know that I need to cut a good 4 inches down. Make my block pattern won't help anyone because I don't really have a waist at the moment. But I'm going to take this triangle and I'm going to use it as a guide here. Lovely. And I'm going to take this zip and I'm going to cut down to the point of the zip as well. So this is a bit unfortunate because I've actually put it right in the middle of the seam. I didn't mean to do that. You can mark it with a pin, you can mark it with a pen, you know, whatever you're happy with. I'm just going to do it for by eye because of the video. Now I've done it on a seam. I recommend that you don't do it on a seam, okay? It was just probably lack of concentration for me. Okay, so we've got that now cut out. Can get that out of the way. No, I do think denim skirts are very easy to wear and everything, but they are, well, they're dark, you know. Even though this one's got a nice bright couple of strips, I feel that it would be quite a drab piece of clothing. So I am going to just literally use this for the pockets so that I'll have a slight bit showing through, and what I'll do is put a bit of banding around it as well. So all I'm doing here is I'm cutting off a 2-inch strip. I've folded the material so I don't have to cut too far. And I chose it because it's nice and bright and I'm going to use it for highlighting. And that is just literally how I think, rather than, you know, you can either not or do. Now I've got 2 layers of fabric there, and I'm going to cut out 2 pockets. And they are literally just little rectangles. Oh, I'm going to cut out 4 pockets. No, that might be a bit small. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm going to turn it inside out, and I am just literally going to sew around these. So there we have everything I need now. Okay, so let's start with the pocket. I have my garment here, and I'm going to turn nothing inside out because I want the pattern visible on the inside of the pocket, okay? So when oh no, you see I've done it again, haven't I? I do have such trouble with inside out. So, there we go. I have turned it inside out. And I need to sew these two together. And one side I need to sew one side of the pocket, and the other side I need to sew the other side of the pocket. So, now, yeah, even though I've done these very small, I would recommend that you measure your phone or whatever you keep in your pocket before you do it, because, you know, this is just silly small, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to switch you off and I'm going to make bigger pockets, sorry. Yeah, you know it makes sense. Hiya, so I've made my bigger pockets. Sometimes I question what am I thinking, but yeah. Now if you were to turn a pair of trousers inside out, you would see the pockets are shaped more like that. Now it's entirely up to you. It doesn't matter, honestly. It really doesn't. I don't think. So here we go. Now, of course, you turn your pocket inside out and you grab the garment that you want to put the pocket in, making sure you're not trying to insert it in the zip, and quite simply you put the right side to the right side, so very, very easily. And then taking the top of the garment, top of the waistband, just sewing down this sleeve. Sorry, this pocket. Okie dokie. Oh, everything's on the floor. Now, I've taken it out of the machine and I'm going to do exactly the same again. And from the top of the skirt to the bottom of the pocket. I've got the pocket on the inside and it's fiddly because I've got the other side of the skirt right there, but I want to do it this way. Now I've come to the bottom of the pocket and I want to pull, I'm pulling this round and I'm going to continue sewing probably an inch and a half to the pocket, from the pocket just down the side. It will just make it look much neater and it will give the pocket more security. So that's the other side of the garment, but when we're wearing it we'll just have a little flash of colour showing through. Yeah, if not, we would have to put a little bit of bracing on the pocket. Now, the two last steps to do are the waistband piping and the zip. Now, it's a bit tricky which to do first, because obviously you need to be able to either sew the piping in the top of the zip. So we're going to do the piping first. What I've done is I've folded this on half and I've got the outside showing through, and I'm literally going to lay it under the garment. So the garment's still inside out. I'm sewing the naked edge of the folded bit of strip, and I'm doing the seam here, so that when it's finished I just have that little bit of piping and the right side. Now it's entirely up to you whether you do sew a waistband on it. The reason that waistbands aren't on some slim fitting clothing is that they can look bulky. If you were wearing a t-shirt and you had a thick waistband, then it would look bulky. So I am letting the machine take in. I'm literally not worrying about any stretch or anything. Now the difficult bit is when I come over the pocket, I want the two pieces of denim to join, and that's that basically. Because there is a little gap between the top of the pocket where we sewed it on one side and the other side. So now I started at the insert of the zip. It's a good idea to leave yourself just an inch or two. No, not even an inch, a half an inch, just so you've got some fold over. Not essential because you'll be trimming it as you sew anyway. So literally, I'm keeping an eye on this one with this hand and layering the denim on the top. Now these are all different thickness fabrics, denims. Some of them are stretch. The actual pair from a pair of jeans is very, very soft, so it also slightly different. I'm just turning the garment round so that I don't want to sort of fight the garment mid-stitch. There we go, and I'm just coming up to the end now. Lovely. So there we go. I can trim that off now. And the zip that I keep pushing on the floor is now mine. Okay, now when I said you can't sew over pins, I meant it. But when I say you can't sew over a zip as well, and you can't get it all caught up, I mean that as well. I mean that very seriously. It will damage your machine. So okay, what we need to do is we need the front part of the zip sewing on the right side, and we need it just to line up like that. So if we pick a side and fold it over, so we've got these two seams together. Easy enough. And we're going to fold over the zip fray bit, you know, the end of the zip, because we don't want to see that. And then we're going to start sewing. Now I've got the zip closed at the minute. It's not going to stay closed. So I'm going to come in at an angle. I always find that best. And I'm going to close the zip halfway. Yeah, what I like to do is I like to turn in at an angle, and then I like to go straight. I just find it the best way. So all I'm doing now is I'm catching the zip. Now we've got the zip half closed, it's right by the foot. What we need to do is we need to lift this foot up and close the zip. This means that we get a long sweeping line. I really should spend 21p or something and buy a zip and show you what it looks like if I don't open and close it, because it's one of those things that I always seem to be saying, and I'm sure it makes no sense. So what I've done now is I've folded the end of the zip at an angle, so it's kept quite nice and flush. What I can do is I can lift my foot up and I can turn it in again. so that it's actually sewn in, because I want it nice and tidy. That's why I'm doing it all on the overlocker. Lovely. Take that out at the end. Now, so that's one side done. I need the other side done as well. And of course I'm going to keep my zip on the outside just because it makes life easier for me. I like to be able to see what I'm doing. And I'll fold over the top bit so you can see exactly what I'm doing. There's a little fold there, and I need to cut the piece of piping. Sorry. There's a little fold there, and I need to cut the piece of piping as well, so I'm sealing it up. Yeah, I suppose that's the best way to describe an overlocker, is you sealing everything up. So, getting it started, and I have my foot right on the edge of my zip. I'm going to come down a bit further. Lovely. Now, I'm going to, I suppose I could put the needle down like I would in a sewing machine, and close the zip. Which is fiddly, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not lessening the degree of difficulty with it. But I hope you agree that it's quite easy to do. So lovely. All I've done now is I've come off the side. We do need to do something about this bottom bit though. Now, as we're not using the sewing machine at all, I'm literally just going to sew over this bit again and join these two up, which I'll do by folding it over. Of course, making sure that I don't go anywhere near the cutter or the metal teeth of the zip. The cutter on the overlocker. Lovely. So that's that. Let's have a little look. It's a lot more tidy. So there we are. Now, so with the other part, the other half of this strip that we cut earlier, again I'm going to fold it up. Oh, sorry, I've got fluff up my nose. And I'll fold it in half. You can use an iron. We have an iron, but I'm not going to. So that's where I need that bit. Now I need to pick the shortest bit of the skirt, and I need my piping to go on the inside of there. No, don't sneeze. Now, I could have trimmed it off before I started. In a way, it'd be easier. I'm less likely to go completely wrong. And I am using the machine to keep my ends straight. If any of you are musicians out there, you can really tell the difference in the pitch every time it changes one fabric to another. left over from where I first did this. It's not quite long enough. Is it that bit? No. Okay. So what I'm doing now is, as I haven't got enough, I only need one length of this. So I'm just literally on the hoof. And this will look fine, by the way, because it's, I can fold over it will look fine if I cut it big enough, okay? Oh, lovely. Because the actual bottom of the skirt is a panel longer, so we have that effect. The binding at the bottom is not quite as long. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be folded with the outside pattern outside still, and I'm going to fold over just a little fold there so that I keep my ends nice. And I'm going to insert this on the inside so that it's a continuous strip. There we are. I'm also going to fold over these ends as well so that I can keep that nice and tucked in. There we are. Just literally a fold. I've got my hand here to steady the fabric anyway, so I can literally keep on sewing. And let's get this all ready and then allow the sheen to feed itself. Lovely. Now, whereas loose ends on a normal garment are quite obvious to the keen eye, they are so obvious in an overlocker. So we have to, there's less though, there really is, there's less. We really have to sort of take a few seconds to trim this. And I suppose in a way I could say that because they're so visible, they are easier to spot. Now that tiny bit of piping, and it is quite tiny, will just hide the overlocker seams. We have the little flash of colour for the pockets that I wanted, and we have the additional touch of a little splay out bit at the bottom. So it will need ironing just to push that down and to keep it down. And yeah, you are in shot, aren't you? Lovely. So that's my scrap denim skirt, which I'm really pleased with. And and it's got a white zip. Maybe I should have put a black zip in there, but it's all very good. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching. Do subscribe, do like, do try and catch me again. I hope that this is the first video I've done completely on the overlocker. I love using the overlocker. Yes, I just don't like getting it out, I think, is the expression. And yes, please like, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thank you ever so much for watching.